Welcome back to It's Not Just a Tuesday, the podcast where we are talking about work and life and the stories that connect us all. I am back with a more traditional podcast, taking a break from chatting with Laura. That new series has been really fun, and we can't wait for you to hear the rest of those. But taking the first interview of the year with Christina Kalfaian from Papa's Kitchen. And I am so excited to have you here and just share your story when we had a chance to connect and kind of hear a little bit more about your journey and what you guys do and the family business and all of that. Are a perfect fit of just what we want to allow people to share in this space. Welcome. Talk to me a little bit about just your story and what got you to where you are and what everybody should know about you.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Andrea, for having me on here. I'm super excited to tell the listeners all about Papa's Kitchen and my journey. But before I kind of talk about my journey, it goes back to my father. Let's be honest, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him.
Right.
But his story is of perseverance and resilience and strength. And that's kind of what he's embedded into both myself and my brother as business owners. So he actually came here at the age of 12 years old from Greece by himself. His mother was already here and he traveled to America. And at the age of 17, he opened up his own restaurant. And could you imagine in today's world, 17 years old, not even graduating high school, and you have your own restaurant? Like, it's insane to me. And so I just constantly go back to his upbringing and I see how he's instilled all that into me. But what's even more cool about his story is he met my mother and they opened up a restaurant during the 70s and they created a famous dressing here in Metro Detroit called Pink Greek salad dressing.
Wait a minute. We talked. You didn't tell me that you guys are the pink dressing.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's a whole different conversation. I love that dressing.
Yes.
Gosh.
So, I mean, I got to keep some things as a surprise.
You did. Oh, and I was I kind of poked around. Like, I know that you do the dressing, but I didn't really make that connection that it's the pink Greek dressing. Like,
Yeah.
the one. Like,
The
oh
one.
my gosh. So cool.
Often copied,
We
never
cook with
duplicated.
that. We cook with that at home. I love that.
Yeah, so he created that dressing back in the 70s, and then fast forward comes my story. So growing up in the restaurant industry, I was 4 years old, taking cash on the register. You know, my dad's always told me, be a doctor, be a lawyer, don't go into the restaurant industry. And I mean, God just had different paths for me. I started off in education, worked at juvie for, down in Detroit. And that really taught me a lot how to work with people, how to communicate with people, and, not put up with anybody's bull crap. And so
This is smart.
I became pregnant after we got married right away. And that kind of put me in a position of, am I going to continue teaching in a juvie where I put
Yeah.
my baby at risk,
Yeah.
or do I step back?
Yeah.
And so I decided to step back. I went into the real estate world, which I am still very heavy in till today.
Okay, cool.
But then I started having some struggles after I had my children, and it was more health related. And I had found out at the age of 25, I was born with something called intestinal malrotation,
Oh my gosh.
which means during utero, your intestines only rotate partial. It doesn't do the full rotation to be into anatomical position.
Wow.
So just imagine your organs only on half of your body.
Right.
And it wasn't until after I had my children that symptoms got really bad. I had multiple surgeries in less than a year, and they were very life threatening surgeries that we had to do. Finally found this doctor at the Cleveland Clinic, and his name is Dr. Kareem, and he is the most phenomenal person. You can see on my face how much love and joy that I have for him because he brought my life back.
Wow.
I am proud to say I'm number 64 worldwide to have this very innovative elective surgery where he went in and did a 9-hour process of
Oh my gosh.
the correct anatomical position.
Oh my gosh.
But what happened was after surgery, I wake up and I'm just staring at a piece of paper. I have doctors talking to me about real estate to keep my brain going. And I just kept staring at this paper and I started doodling.
Okay.
And what I ended up doodling was a salad dressing bottle.
Hmm.
No idea where, when, how, what, why, but I just started doodling the salad dressing and
That dressing was in your core.
yeah, and I looked at my mother, I go, I'm going to create a salad dressing line and we're going to have the Pink Greek in bottles on shelves selling nationally.
Wow.
And she looked at me and she's like, you're crazy, but I'm sure it's the medication. She's just going to roll with it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that was in 2019, June of 2019. I came up with the idea. I started researching a little bit through the Michigan State University and um, COVID hit. And it's like, do I really want to start a business during COVID? And it was a blessing in disguise. It gave me that time to actually research without feeling like I'm rushed
That's so smart. Yeah.
on the shelves. So I got to learn about the FDA and about biological research and about different bacteria growth,
Yeah.
stuff that I had no idea about. And fast forward, that was 2019. We launched June of 2021,
Okay.
and we're now on all the Meijer shelves across 6 states.
Bravo. Oh my gosh, that's so exciting.
Hey,
I love that. Congratulations.
so that's kind of where we tie back that
Yeah.
persistence and that tenacity.
I was gonna say, that sounds like your dad opening a restaurant at 17, right? That's that thing that's in you that says, "Let's just see if this works because I wanna try something."
Yeah.
I love
And that's basically what it was I just, let's see if I can do it. And if it happens, it happens. If not, I give it a try and we move on to the next.
Yeah, that's awesome. What's this journey been like over the last couple of years? This, entrepreneur, growing brand, and mom and everything else. What has that work-life balance looked like for you?
Is a roller coaster. I don't know how I have so much time in a day to get everything done, but somehow
Oh,
I
you
mean,
do? That's fancy. I'm missing an hour or two. Every single day I'm missing an hour or two.
I'm not gonna lie, I still get 8 hours of sleep too.
Amazing.
Sleep is number one to me.
Yeah.
That my priorities are set, and
Yeah.
I think I'll put sleep before I put my children.
That's how you're a good mom. Well,
If I
they
spend
they
my
don't want you to be, yeah, our kids don't want us to be tired because we don't mother well.
no,
Yeah.
no, but it's truly been a fun roller coaster. Just when you think you're getting to the very top and you're ready to go down and start screaming, something else just comes in and you just keep chucking along and I just roll with the punches as they come.
That's so cool. So the brand is now in all these places. What are kind of what does business look like now? What's the goal? What are you trying to accomplish here?
Yeah, so we have launched 5 flavors.
Okay.
So not only do we have the Pink Greek, I have a creamy dill, which is a play off of ranch, but with fresh dill in it.
Nice.
Only 80 calories. Let me just throw that in there.
Very cool.
So I dip my potato chips in it.
Yeah.
We have a harvest vinaigrette, which is our seasonal fall item. It's made with pumpkin and Dijon mustard. Our fresh herb vinaigrette, which is all hand chopped herbs infused into oil and vinegar. And then
Okay.
fifth
Nice.
that we just launched is our green goddess made with chickpeas. So we're trying all different unique ingredients and
Yeah.
not trying to stay in the same lane as a Marzetti or a crab
Right.
ranch
Right.
Italian.
Yeah.
And then we have some exciting news that will be down the pipeline of a new product launch.
Ooh, a pink something else.
I signed an NDA with myself.
Oh, good job. That was a good job. I should do that more often. Um, okay, so the chickpea thing caught me. How does making dressing out of chickpeas come about?
I'm laughing hysterically over here because if you only saw my kitchen that day, it was really random. I wanted a green goddess, but I mean, all those green goddess are made with avocado. And
Mhm.
it puts a different flavor to the dressing. There's a back flavor that you either love it or you hate it. So I'm like, what can we do? And I started playing with other ingredients. Nothing was really hitting my palate. And somehow I'm like, chickpeas. Let's try chickpeas. That's going to give it still that vegan flavor in the bottle.
Yeah.
And I just started playing with them. I mean, I think my first batch, I didn't even boil them. I didn't know what I was doing. And then I made 3 different batches, 3 separate times, and the 3rd batch was everybody was like, "Yes, this is it." And it's kind of a play off of pesto.
Okay.
Chickpeas gives
Yeah.
that grainy Parmesan-like feel
Right.
in the dressing.
Right. Okay. I love that. So is there basil in it and that kind of
There's
okay.
basil, mint, cilantro, not a lot of cilantro because I know a lot of people don't like cilantro, so I gotta be really careful when I say that. Um, Parsley, mint, basil, cilantro, ginger, chickpea, olive oil, maybe a little bit of S&P.
Right. Amazing. That's so cool. So, I mean, obviously everything is like made from scratch and, no other filler stuff in it if you're just whipping that up in your kitchen. Where do you guys produce now? Do you have a space? You're delivering all over in 6 states now. What does that look like?
So we have a co-packer, and what a co-packer is they own their own manufacturing
Yep.
facility,
Yeah.
and then we share our recipes with them.
Okay.
And they manufacture, they warehouse our product, and then our distributors actually pick up right from there. So it's a hands off unless we're running a production, and then I go in during production to do our quality control.
Okay. So like a new flavor or something like that, you kind of go in there. How exciting.
Yeah,
So, what would I feel like so many people have this like doodle on a piece of paper moment in their lives, or maybe just people like us. But, like, what would you say to someone who has an idea? Like, I mean, you come from an entrepreneurial background, but, but you'll have to like grit and do that yourself. What is the advice you have now, a couple years in?
be prepared. Know what you're setting yourself up for and be prepared. It takes a lot of doors slamming on your face for you to actually push through and say, I'm going to do this. So just because one door shuts, don't just sit there and say, okay, that's it. Just push through it. That's where that tenacity comes in. You just phone call after phone call after phone call, knock on the door. I mean, if you get a no, move on, go to the next, and then try it again 3, 4 months down the line because more than likely that person doesn't even remember that first conversation with you when they said no. So if you have a second conversation, you've already set brand awareness in their head and they don't even know it.
Yeah. Oh, that's so smart. It's that consistency. I mean, consistency is everything about business. And it's so much of what I teach with, my clients or people that we're working with is, I have this joke that when I do trainings, content is king when we're doing social media trainings. Consistency is queen. And because I think queens are more important, consistency is more important because it really is. It's about that, the product is one thing. It's great. Or the story is one thing. It's great. But it's that consistency of here we are, we're awesome. Hey, here we are, we're doing this today. Hey, who we are. This is what the business looks like now, and this is why we're important. And it really is that consistent like tapping on a door regardless of the response.
And there's always this misconception that once you have a product on the shelf, people think you're automatically on the shelves for good.
Okay.
It is not like that.
Wow. Yeah, I
There
didn't either.
are reviews, quarterly reviews, where these markets will say, okay, this product's been on the shelf. They're not selling. It's only been an order in. We're losing shelf space. We're losing money. We're going to pull it. So just because you get your product on the shelf, it's
Right.
still up to you to move that product off the shelf.
Yeah. And so really, the retail is the end result, but they're not selling I mean, they're not actually selling your product for you. You're still doing all of your own marketing and things like that. That's true. I don't think people think of that because you think, it's just in the store. People aren't going to pick up a new thing necessarily unless they know about it and see it in other places.
And one thing that I had no idea about was chargebacks. And this is a very important part of the retail is the market will buy your product at a certain price, but if it doesn't sell, then you have to buy your product back from the store. So just when you think you're making X amount of money,
Right.
you're also losing X amount of money.
Yeah.
So that really puts that fire beneath you to say, okay, I need to sell this product, whether it's a, sale or a demo or just
Yeah.
hitting social media hard.
Yeah. Well, and so, I'm in this, PR and social media world. What does that look like for you guys? What has worked? What hasn't worked? In a growing business, like you said, hitting social media hard and doing PR and and joining a podcast with 17 listeners.
I love all 17
You're
listeners.
proving that you do the big and small things, right? I think that's a really good thing to prove is just it's the consistency of getting yourself out there and meeting any audience. I love that.
And I've tried multiple things on different platforms. I'm still not a big TikTok person yet. I like being in front of the camera, but I don't like filming me in front of the camera and editing it and cutting it. If I could just have somebody follow me with a camera constantly, I think I would have content for days, but I don't. But I think just putting those recipes on our social media and showing people that you can utilize the dressing other than a salad dressing.
That's so smart. Okay. Yeah, I love that. All right. So, the podcast is It's Not Just a Tuesday. And I do this thing where while I'm talking to people, I ask them something about last Tuesday, this Tuesday, next Tuesday, because I really just believe that our stories are being created every day and something probably really cool happens every day. And if we don't think about it in that way, then we don't ever pay attention to it that way. So now's the moment where you open your calendar and we talk about your Tuesday and
Yeah.
how cool it was.
So last Tuesday was spring break. So we actually took my three nephews and my daughter and son to Toronto for the Hockey Hall of Fame. And it was more or less of my sister-in-law's a professional photographer. So she just needed to step away from her business. I needed to step away from my business. And we're like, what can we do that all children would love, enjoy without breaking the bank?
Right.
And so we ended up going to the Hockey Hall of Fame and had the time of our
I love that. I love that.
it
That's
was
really
just
cool.
making memories.
Right, right. Well, and I think, that probably speaks to your story, right? You had time to step away from your business. Your family's really important. Your family's obviously like an undercurrent from your dad in the business, right? And so you're leaving this legacy for your kids about how important
Maybe.
it is.
Maybe.
I think they surprise us. I think there's so much more that they see and notice and hear. Like my son, I don't necessarily think he will do the same thing I do, but I think he knows that it's an option. And I think, the more we expose them to that you can do anything you want to do for real, right? Then it at least lets them know that they can be as creative as they want to be and they can chart a path. And I think that's that tenacity that I want to leave to him, and that family is important and that we take time for that and that some days are busier than others, but when it's important, we'll be there and we'll go to the Hall of Fame and we'll figure out a way to spend time together. I love
Yeah.
that.
And it's so amazing because both my children are very involved in the business. My
Okay.
son has that engineer brain.
Okay.
And mind you, he's only 10 years old. And I will sit there with my pad and paper with all the margins, and he'll look at me and he'll literally tell me, Mom, you're low on your margin. You need to increase here. You need to do this. And then my daughter, on the other token, will be like, Robert, and she's 9 years old. Robert, you can't have the business. It's woman owned and you're not a woman.
And you just said maybe about whether or not you were leaving a impression.
Well, I mean, they're
They already get it.
already think they have the business.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
Already have the CEO and
it's
the
so
operating officer probably.
well, and I won't. My dad, sorry, told her, honey, you're gonna because she does want to be a dentist.
Okay.
So she will sit there and say, I'm going to be a dentist, but I'm going to have Papa's Kitchen and it's going to be my write off. I'm like, you're hanging out with Papu, which means grandpa, which is my dad. Like, you're hanging out with Papu too much. He is telling you
She's 9 and she knows about a write-off.
he knows about a write off.
I love this kid. Oh my gosh, that's so smart. That is so amazing.
Like, what is my dad teaching you
Yeah.
guys?
But that is like that's the legacy that we get to leave when we love what we do, we share it with our family, we like live our lives. He passed that tenacity to you. He's teaching the tenacity and the business acumen to your kids.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, I love that. I'm gonna write it off.
It's going to be a write off. I'm like, do you know what a write off is?
Right.
Papu told me, and Yaya does all the book work, so she'll take care of me. I'm like, oh my God.
So smart. She's going to write it off. Which I wonder if, I mean, does she think that means it doesn't make money and she's going to write it off from the. It's her charity work. It's her charity.
You know what? I'm going to video her one day and just like randomly ask her and see what she
Yeah, you
thinks.
should. You should. That would go viral. That's a really good video for Papa's Kitchen Instagram and Facebook. Hey, lessons on business owner from Papa's Kitchen's kids.
Write it off.
Yeah, just whatever it is. You don't. It doesn't matter.
Throw a write off.
God will figure it out. It's fine. Oh, I love that. Well, I mean, I'm so glad that you spent some time hanging out with me. I love learning something new. And I really, like I said, like I read your bio and I learned about the business and everything, and I still did not make the connection of the pink dressing, which I'm sure you do appropriate marketing everywhere, and I just didn't see it on your social media prevalently. But the cool thing for me is this is such a in real time explanation of sharing your story over and over again work. And you kind of connect with somebody new every single time. And even if someone thinks they know, like I know, now I love the dressing and then now I love you, I'm gonna make that connection, right? And I feel like it's the perfect example of why I do this podcast and why I want to just help more people tell their stories because that's what's different about a dressing, right? There's lots of dressing out there, but this dressing comes from a place of love and a tenacity and just a place where you can actually create something new for people that was famous in a one way that people know of in one way, maybe especially in our area, but now you're making it new. I think that's really cool.
Yes. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, I'll have all of your information. People can find you, follow you, all of that stuff. If you have a Meijer bio, you should definitely buy some of this dressing. I'm going to be ordering it from Shipped tonight in my Meijer order because we use the pink dressing, but I still get it from some of the Coney Islands around here because I have a bunch by us. So I'm certain it's not yours and not just as good. So thank you for hanging out with me. And I would love to have you back anytime. I will definitely chat with you again when you have this new exciting teaser to share with us. So let's talk again. That's going to be, if you launch it on a Tuesday, please let me know because I really like celebrating Tuesdays.
I might just purposely make it a Tuesday.
Because it's not just a Tuesday.
Not just a Tuesday.
Something really cool is happening every day. Awesome. Well, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening, all 17 of you. And I will see you all on another Tuesday.
Have a beautiful day.